少年ジャンプス。
Kept you waiting, huh? Welcome back to Shonen Chumps, the only anime podcast on the gosh darn internet that features the three of us. As always, I'm Brennan.
I'm Sean.
I'm Dylan.
And if you didn't know what we do here, we watch anime and then we hang out and talk about it. It's been a little while. Hope you guys are well, and we hope you're still there. And if you are still there, we love you, and we're sorry for the delay. Yeah. Anyways.
You know how the summer goes. It's busy.
This week, we watched an anime that's long overdue for us. We watched Attack on Titan Season 3, Part 2.
All right, here we are, guys. All right, finally back together again.
Back on the old horse.
All right, and we don't need to go over the question of what we know about Attack on Titan, because as listeners know, we've been watching it for 3.5 seasons so far.
Yes.
Right, I thought you were going to go over years, but that's interesting.
Yeah. Whatever. Wait, 3.5? Whatever. 3 whole seasons now.
Yes. Okay. It's been a minute.
Yeah. So, did you guys like this? This half of Season 3?
Is this our sentence, or is this separate from our sentence? The did you like it?
Oh, right, yeah, the sentence.
Yeah, it's been so long, we forgot how we do this.
Which is funny because the listeners, I always forget the sentence. Like, I always forget how to start the podcast like that. Yeah, true. Okay, the sentence. Dylan?
This is the first time that I can say that it was great.
Oh, shit.
Whoa. Okay. ...
I think. Period.
Nice.
Brennan?
Okay, my sentence is, I was expecting total dog shit. However, I was pleasantly surprised.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta think of a cool sentence. What I'm gonna say is, Attack on Titan Season 3, Part 2 is full steam ahead to disappointment.
Oh, damn.
I'll just follow that up by saying that, like, this show never lives up to, like, the potential that it has in the first season. Like, all this, like, hey, surprises, or not surprises, but, like, mysteries and stuff. And it's like, oh, this is what you wanted to tell?
Very cool.
So, I just listened to the beginning of our podcast on Season 1, just because I was curious about our sentences. And what I said was that I found it, like, intriguing, but I ultimately found the characters hollow. Mm-hmm. And that's actually why I was pleasantly surprised, because for the first time I had very few qualms with it, because I felt like we were going full steam ahead, but to answers, and characters felt a little more fleshed out. And I don't know. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I added that I think at the end because I realized that my sentence kind of said, like, it was great. It kind of implied that I didn't have issues with it. There were some parts where I thought they kind of laid on the melodrama a little thick.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's just like the show now.
Yeah.
Right, but overall, I was pleasantly surprised with answers. Mm-hmm. With progress, with very little fat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I was surprised with, like, what they like the amount that they showed, because like everything you're learning something new like every episode of the season.
Yeah.
Or this half of this season. But like every surprise was just like kind of like lame to me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, there were a lot of reasons why I thought this was good at the end of the day, and it did win me over, because when we were starting to watch it, first of all, it's been a while since we've watched Attack on Titan, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't have like any sort of level of hype going into this, just because it's been so long. I mean, that's partially our own fault, but like at the same time, like even just thinking back on the story of Attack on Titan, I was like sort of okay to just let it go almost and be like, yeah, I guess I'll never know how that wraps up. Like if we weren't watching it for the podcast, I probably wouldn't have gone back and watched it of my own accord. And like,
really?
Yeah, honestly.
Like, are you not curious as to like what's going on in this world?
Well, kind of, but like I just felt jaded.
You're right.
Because of like, I mean, as soon as you start like the first episode, it's set up like, oh, they're going to take Wall Maria back. They're going back to their hometown, yada, yada. I'm just like, oh my God. So don't tell me they're going to spend an entire season in this one town fighting this one battle again. It's going to be like Battle for Trost Part 28 or whatever. Right. So I wasn't looking forward to that. And I was like, how much, like, are you going to retread the same steps? Like, oh, like, all hope is lost. Like, they're going in all optimistic and then they get wrecked. And that is like what happens to a degree. And then they're going to get saved at the end of the day by blah, blah, blah.
Like every season of Attack on Titan is like one battle and one event.
Yeah. So like,
like that's the only thing it has time for.
Like I wasn't too excited about that, you know? And then even like after the first one or two episodes, I was still kind of rolling my eyes, but it did eventually win me over.
Right.
I guess we can get into what happened.
Yeah, I really want to bring up my biggest complaint with the entire series. It's just a tiny little thing, guys, okay? Just a tiny little thingy. But it's like the worst thing that this show has ever done. Why can Reiner transfer his consciousness into his body instead of his head?
I think it's it's kind of weird. I feel like it's part of the regeneration thing. Like we've seen like this only clicked like halfway through the season because they had a flashback to when they were doing experiments on Eren. And like there's a point where I think Hanji pulls him out of his Titan and his face is blown off. Like he does, it's a skull. Like his face is fucked up.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I guess like every Titan that has like consciousness at least, or like they all have regeneration powers.
Right.
But I guess the ones who are smart can like transfer their brain elsewhere so they don't like die when their head gets blown off.
Yeah. Like to me, I'm super down for like supernatural bullshit and there's like giant monsters and shit. That stuff's awesome.
Yeah.
But like you can't just like cut off Reiner's head or Reiner, however you want to pronounce it.
Right.
You can't just cut off his head and then give me an inner monologue with his corpse saying, "Oh, thank God I put my consciousness into my chest," you know?
Yeah.
Because 5 minutes before this, we never knew. For 3.5 seasons, we didn't know that this was even a possible thing ever.
Yeah, coming to you live from my spinal cord.
Yeah, there wasn't even like maybe in season 2, like somebody would like punch Reiner in the shoulder. He'd get punched by Annie, and he'd be like, "Ow, my consciousness is in my shoulder right now. You really hurt my
brain. Gave me brain damage."
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, sorry about that. Let me know next time." There's like none of that. There was no setup line for that. Like, guys, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
I can't give it a break.
It's kind of a silly mechanic.
Yeah, it's true, right? Because the whole thing was that the way you kill a Titan, because they can regenerate, is to cut the nape of their neck, which you assume is like severing their brain from their spinal cord.
Yeah.
And now, if you do that, it's chill as long as you knew that was about to happen, and you can just
like how many lines of defense are there?
Yeah,
I feel
when
like
is a brain gonna end up in a toe, like the baby toe of a Titan, and then you
like,
know?
While we're griping, and especially griping about Reiner, I feel like I've got to say like one of the points of like just like the fact that they can't catch a break and they really sell this in every fucking season. It's like, oh, it's such a hopeless battle. The fact that they try so hard to take down Reiner, they actually beat him using these like lightning rockets or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Lightning rods,
and like it works, and then they have him, and then he escapes again. It's like, bro, like can you just fucking kill him? Can we just get like some dead big Titans and then introduce some new Titans with new powers? It's like I'm so sick and tired of seeing the same Titans have like fights. Like, can we? Like we're gonna get some more in like season 4, and then with the lore dump that we got in this, we found out that there's like I think 9 Titans. There's like 9 intelligent Titans that spawned from Ymir or whatever. So there should be 9, and we've seen like a handful so far.
Well, Aaron is 2 of them though.
Right, he absorbed the powers.
Aaron has the coordinate power, like the main, like the lead Titan, and he has the attack Titan.
Right, because his dad ate Krista's family.
Yeah, and then Aaron ate his dad, which I kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
I love how we get this like fantastic name. Okay, the Attack Titan. Oh my god, maybe the title of the show finally makes sense, and yet it doesn't because they're still on in the middle.
Right. And it's just like
there's going to be an on Titan.
It's just translation woes. It's just
and like Aaron eats that Titan, then he's like the Attack on Titan coordinate or something. I don't even know.
Attack on coordinate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just lost in translation because Shingeki no Kyojin.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh right.
Yeah, the Titan of Shingeki, which I'm guessing is Attack.
Attack of a Titan.
I guess
could be
Attack of Titan. Yeah, they just rebrand the whole thing.
So it's interesting because the way Attack on Titan has been broken up in terms of seasons, right? We had the first season, which was like 25 episodes, I think, and then the second season was 12. And they, season 1 aired all together and season 2 aired all together. But season 3, they broke up into essentially 2 parts, which is pretty much 2 seasons because they're kind of far apart.
Right.
Yeah, they're almost a year apart. So season 3, part 1 was 12 episodes and season 3, part 2 was 10, which is what we just watched.
Right.
So that's interesting because because you talked about... them not ever being able to live up to kind of what season 1 was like, not even in terms of what season 1, if season 1 was the best, but I think you're talking about like the world they established and what was potentially possible, right? Yeah. So I think I agree for the most part. It's been mostly not satisfying up until this point, but I've stuck with it because I've always thought that Attack on Titan is a really interesting story told like pretty terribly or pretty like not well, right? It's just like, there's like an interesting world here. It just, I don't know, like the anime has been kind of weak. But this
it's almost like the delivery of it. Well, it's definitely the delivery of how like badly or weirdly it's told or slowly it's told. Like ruins the payoffs of the mysteries there. Like the mysteries could be really cool if they like dulled them out at like a certain pace.
Yeah.
But right now it's like, dude, what have I waited? Like I don't even know how many episodes it is, like 70 in order to find like this little tidbit.
They're finally back in the basement after how long?
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like this, we finally got like a concentrated 10 episodes with some cool action, some answers finally that I actually felt were pretty satisfying. Pretty good, and I think characters that annoyed me or just seemed so flat, I kind of liked them a lot more just overall. Like I felt like we were more aware of people's motivations, and it was so it was just it was so much better like put together than I think any of the last few seasons.
100%. I think like one of the biggest criticisms of Attack on Titan so far has been the pacing. And like not to mention like the fact like the way the whole anime has been rolled out and how they didn't capitalize on the hype when they had it with season 1 and waited 4 years for season 2. It's like there's a whole bunch of like fumbling that has led us to feel the way we feel now watching the show. But I feel like someone who's never heard, like who's lived on Mars or like, I don't know, just got into anime like yesterday, someone who's sitting down and binging Attack on Titan probably wouldn't feel as sour about some of the things that we feel about.
Sure. Yeah. With no weight. Yeah.
So I feel like as a show, it does, like, especially with this season, like you said, it made up for a lot of its fuck-ups in terms of pacing, just with how much payoff we got.
it's almost like, because we know there's only one season left, and that's season 4, and I don't know how many episodes is in that.
Right,
It could
yeah.
be 10, it could be 25,
50,
it could be 50. My guess is probably not any longer than season 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, like, it's almost like this is like a fresh start, and this final season we'll see what the true Attack on Titan is. Like,
Right.
what is the show when its secrets are out? When it doesn't need to worry about pacing or dolling out secrets. It's just like beginning to end. We're rushing to the finish line.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not rushing. That's not a good term because I'm not. Don't
We
want to
are
insinuate-
charging
Yeah.
head first.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like a really interesting way to put it, because I think that means that this last season will determine whether or not Attack on Titan is a good show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's
100%.
all up
Yeah.
to this last season, what they do. Because, like, it wouldn't, it's
Yeah.
not one of those shows where you could be like, oh, like, season 1 to 3 were great, but then season 4 fucked it up. Like, this season is make or break, I think.
Exactly.
This upcoming season, yeah.
Yeah, it's like season 8 of Game
of Thrones. I was
It's
just
like
thinking that.
everything hinges on this.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking that. It's
Yeah.
like if you can't wrap it up beautifully, then you've screwed the pooch.
Yeah, you've botched it from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to 2013 and
tell myself not to watch
the
this.
show. Oh my god.
Oh my
Why did we both say the same thing?
That's super interesting. Like, I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I'm surprised that Game of Thrones is one of that shows that retroactively ruins the previous seasons. But it does
Yeah,
from the
it's
sense
like-
of it.
yeah.
It's from everyone that I've talked to.
You've
it
never
sounds
watched
like
it, right?
ruined, yeah, it sounds. Like
I
it
wouldn't tell
ruined
you to
all-
watch it now because
Right,
it's
yeah,
not worth
honestly,
it.
Yeah, it really bums me out that it went
Like
that way.
despite that it's so good, like at least for the first 4 seasons, like it's not worth watching at the end.
Yeah, because like ending shows is tough, and it's quite common that a show with critical acclaim doesn't have the best ending, or it's polarizing or whatever, but people still ultimately like the show. But Game of Thrones, did this thing where I think most people hate what it became.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to draw that comparison to Attack on Titan and see where we'll be a year from now or whenever it airs. I think it airs in 2020, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but that being said, they definitely do have my attention with what they've set up. Like, the thing is, it's like they gave us some closure, but they also did a whole bunch of setting up with some of that closure. And I'm very excited to see where that goes, because it's like the world of possibilities that have opened up, like the ways this show could potentially go are so interesting. And that's part of what I loved about this season. And I guess we'll like talk about what we liked now, I guess, because we've been kind of been shitting on this for a minute.
That's another. Like, you just called it like this season, but I don't. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't even remember feeling too strongly about the first half of this season. Like the first 12 episodes, I really think it's these last 10 that
sell it.
that have kind
Yeah,
of
from
sold
my memory,
season 3. Yeah,
I think that both of you guys, like, weren't hot on the first half of the season,
Right.
And like, I wasn't crazy about it either, but I was the most positive about watching the series in the future because
Yeah.
I want to know how it ends.
Right.
But you guys were like, you know what? I'll watch it for the podcast, but like, I don't need it in my life.
Right. I mean, like, see, that's the thing. Even, like, gearing up to watch the second half, like, I couldn't remember what happened in the first half for the life of me. Like, I watched, like, a recap, and I, like, remembered, like, the major plot points, but besides that, like, there was, like, a lot of fucking around, like, people fighting people and stuff. I mean, like, that, there's, like, a merit to that. I'm not gonna discredit that. Like, that was definitely interesting to see how characters react when they're put in a situation they're not used to. It's like, oh, okay, cool. No more Titans fighting people.
Yeah. Like, we
interesting.
can't tell if that stuff is filler or bullshit until the show ends.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
we won't know in full context.
I mean, like, we had some interesting character moments, but I'm not, like, I can't remember any of them offhand, you
Right,
know? So, but it was good. It was good enough. Anyways, what did
there's-
you... Yeah, no, yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. I was just going to go to a huge plot point. Maybe we could talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'd say that the first major plot point before we ever get to the basement is the
Right.
fact that Armin dies.
Right.
Just
yeah.
he gets like scorched by steam.
He gets
believe.
right.
wrecked.
I feel like you jumped through most of
we?
the season.
Wait,
yeah, no, I know.
But the thing is that that first like 6 episodes is the same battle with Reiner and his brain in his body,
Birdie.
and
Right,
Bertolt
yeah.
being a little dumbass,
and then the Ape Titan.
right, the Ape Titan, and like
That was a lot.
Oh, and the cool moment of like Levi sending the cadets into their death,
Dude.
essentially.
So I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
that's the moment when the show started to win me over again. Was Erwin's suicide charge?
Yeah.
Dude, that
Yes.
was
Yeah.
sick. Like, I'm not one for like emotional speeches, like any kind of Braveheart style sort of thing. Like, it's been played out like to death, and it's like, okay, like cool, very chill. Now please hurry up and die. And like, it should be noted that I didn't have investment in these characters the way I did when I was watching the show previously, when I was watching the new seasons. So I was like, okay, like whatever. But I will say, Erwin's speech about like what's the point of living and like what's the point of dying, that made me feel something, dude. I was like, shit, you got me, I'm back in. As soon as he said like trust, like the whole point of dying is to like trust your memory to the people who come after you, and it doesn't matter like how good of a life you've lived or like your hopes or your dreams or anything like that. It took like that palpable hopelessness that the show loves to drudge up and used it for something for once.
Right.
Like, rather than just saying, oh my god, all hope is lost, oh my god, all hope is lost, oh wait, Aaron's a Titan now, he's gonna save the day. Like, instead of doing that, it took that feeling that it was generating by killing all these scrubs and like cannon fodder characters, and then used it for an emotional moment when they all charge into the Beast Titan and they get wrecked by his baseball throws. Also, baseballs exist in this universe.
Oh, I made a note about that.
Right.
Yeah. But like, it made me feel something. I was like, damn, dude, you got me.
Yeah, see, Brendan, that's the exact point that I started to feel something. And so that took place in episode 16. And my last note about episode 16 is, whoa, is this season great?
Yeah.
Question mark. Because I wasn't sure yet, but I was like, I think this season might be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really interesting, because the beginning of the season we get them, going to retake Walmaria, and there's hope there, but we know that they're going to end up in a battle, and things seem hopeless when Armin figures out that the Titans are hiding in the walls and they're surrounded, and yeah, Erwin gives this speech.
Right.
One to the soldiers, which is amazing, but then he also has this private dialogue with Levi, which is like the second part of the moment that was really winning me over about Attack on Titan.
Right.
And it is like Erwin like expressing sadness that he won't find out if he's right about like the origin of the Titans. So cool. And he laments that he's been fighting for himself and not for humanity the way the other soldiers were.
Right.
Dude.
And like that was really powerful too, because he has this great showing of strength to the soldiers. Like, we have to fight, and then still privately, there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of sadness. He takes the mask off, and it's only for someone like Levi, like a close confidant. And it was just incredibly powerful, and it kind of just reminds you of the kind of like real life perils of war.
Yeah,
really.
dude.
Yeah, like
it gets
these
so
guys know that they're about to march to their death, but like that's all they can do. It's their only shot.
Dude, it's so hard to sell war in a narrative, and it's like very few anime manage to do it well. Like, some of the earlier Gundam stuff does it like amazingly.
Oh, yes.
And then it falls off, but in later series. But
yeah,
dude, it's like, it's been a while since I've encountered something where I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. And like you said, in that moment, we were just revealed an entirely new dimension of that character of Erwin, because we haven't seen him like that ever. We don't know anything about him personally. We only know him as like a leader, like his character archetype that he's been so far. It's like, what do you want, Erwin? What are your goals in life? And like, we found all of that out in a very human moment. It was very cool.
Yeah. The other thing with that is I don't remember when in the season they were reminded of like Eren, Mikasa, and Armin's age, but they're like 15, I think.
Yeah.
Which I thought they were older. Like, I was
when they were in the jail cell.
Yeah, I think that's.
I was also taken aback.
So later on in the season, but I want to link that into also, Erwin's speech. He's leading a bunch of new recruits. Right. And they're not even as seasoned as the other guys. So these are these are young kids too. Like, I mean, you want to say they're teenagers as well.
Yeah.
And this is like their first battle, so it just
It's
even more
crazy,
you're feeling.
That's why the one of them that survives is like so angry when
Yeah,
he shows
he's
up
got-
when they're like thinking if they're gonna save
Yeah.
Armin or save Erwin.
Right. He's got like survivor's guilt. He's like
Yeah.
all fucked up. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I kind of hate him. I'm kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
you asshole, like, shut up. But also,
Let the main characters talk.
you know who I was sad to see die in that charge? It was the mushroom cut
Marlo.
guy.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Marlo as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were only introduced to Marlo in the first half of season 3, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken. Maybe we saw him earlier, but what I remember about him is that him and Hitch, that like female soldier,
yeah.
they were guarding some base, and they were at like when Levi's squad was kind of like going against the government.
I remember that, yeah.
And then they switch sides and they help Levi,
Right.
and then Marlo ends up joining the scouts.
Yeah.
but Hitch doesn't.
Because
And
he's got like a strong sense of justice and
Yeah.
like, you know.
And
he wants to
while
do.
he's riding in his death charge, he starts thinking about Hitch, like
Oh,
the girl.
yeah.
And then he's like, wait, why am I thinking about her at a time like this? I'm about to die. And that was heartbreaking. 'Cause
I
he's
know.
like, you don't know that you love her, that you're like in
Yeah.
love with her, dude. You're just like a kid and you're about to die. And I was like, holy shit. And like, you know, they don't shy away from showing a like boulder like hit his face and
Right.
kill him.
Yeah. He got,
Which was like
he got wrecked.
brutal.
Too good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that. Like, it was quite beautiful. It's like when you watch like a war movie and like you see, I don't know, like the young one of the squad in the trenches like freaking out, and like his commander's got to like get his head right, and is like, listen, we're gonna die, but it's gonna be all right. Don't worry.
So one thing before we get back to Armin being revived and turning into a Titan, it's been a while since I've watched the season, but I have like pretty comprehensive notes. Does the Beast Titan ride like quadruped?
quadruped,
yeah.
Titan.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fucked up.
disgusting.
Yeah,
that
so-
thing is disgusting.
Because the other part of the plan of the Death March is that Levi promises Erwin that he's going to kill the Beast Titan.
Right.
And which is, oh my god, one of the coolest moments, because he swings from Titan to Titan,
Right.
killing each of them.
Right.
And then he lands on the Beast Titan, and he does succeed in cutting the guy
He
out.
fucks him up
And then I think he pauses for a moment
before he could finish it.
because he's thinking that someone should take the dosage and eat
right,
and
right,
eat him
right.
so that they get his power. I think
Yeah,
that's what it is. And then in that point, the other like smart Titan, the unique Titan, the quadruped,
Right.
grabs him and runs away.
Dude, it's
Right.
so ugly. It's so
it's gross.
ugly.
And dude, that's a smart Titan too. So
Yeah,
it's,
it's one of
it's even worse.
yeah. Is that one
Ugh.
of the 9? I'm guessing
It's got to be one of the 9. Yeah.
Right.
Ew, man.
Okay, wait. So who are the 9 right now that we know of?
Okay, so
Aaron is 2.
So
Yeah.
Aaron has 2, I guess, like the coordinate. So I guess the leader. I don't know if it's let's just say the coordinate, the attack,
Yes.
and then then we have the colossal, which is now Armin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that Berthold's dead.
Transferred.
The armor titan,
Yeah.
Reiner.
Yeah.
Beast titan,
Yeah.
Quadruped.
quadruped.
Yeah. That's sucks.
Annie,
Annie.
who's being tortured still.
She's just crystallized, right?
and
This entire time.
I think that's it. I think
So
so. I think we have
there's
7.
2 more that we don't
Rulio?
know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
remember.
does Emir count as one?
Oh yeah, she does.
Oh yeah.
She does.
So then there's one more we don't know, which could be a potential leader of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait,
And,
actually, is Ymir because?
well, she's smart, so she must be, right?
Yeah, but what was her lore?
Unless
She
we're
was like
thinking about
wild.
this totally wrong, and like all the Titans that are in these 9 have like a specific role and like a specific name, like
Beast
Attack
Titan,
Beast
oh.
Titan,
Right.
blah blah blah, and like Ymir wouldn't count as any of those. I don't know.
Maybe.
Unless she has a name and we don't know.
Yeah, that's
because like the
possible,
thing
too.
is, it's like she gained. She was like a wild titan for a long time, right? And then she
Yeah.
ate one of Birdie's buddies, and then she gained consciousness, right? But is that just how all titans work? I can't remember the lore.
Yeah, that is what it is. Cause right, I forgot about that. Yeah. She was turned into a titan.
Yeah, and she
And
wandered
she was
in the
mindless
desert
for a while, and
years.
then she ate one of the smart titans. Yeah.
But I can't remember. Like,
So I guess she has.
oh wait, she ate one of the smart titans.
Yeah, the one that she would have to. That would be the way she gains.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
consciousness,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Yeah, I guess Ymir's one of them. Now that's another interesting thing is that
Her name,
yeah. So we get this lore dump about. I mean, wait. Should we wait and just
let's talk about Armin first.
Getting
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys like that Armin gets to be a Titan instead of Erwin?
I was shocked, first of all, when he died, because I just thought he was dead. I gave the show enough credit to be like, oh, okay, so he's gone now.
Yeah.
So I was shocked until the next episode where he was, like, breathing. But also, he, like, fell 50 feet and got roasted to a crisp. It's like, how are you still alive, dude?
Dude, I really wish they didn't show me that charred body. That was gross.
Yeah,
that was hard to look at.
Dude, I was like, wow, they're really gonna do Armin dirty like that.
Yeah.
Like, jeez, bro.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I was pretty surprised when he was put on the table again to be revived, and then I was like, oh, obviously. But then they brought Erwin into the question, and then I was like, oh, word? Mm-hmm. Like, this would be it would be a challenging thing for a show to do, to give us the hope to bring Armin back and then kill Armin.
Yeah.
Like, I would have given, like, mad respect to the show if they did that.
Right.
I mean, I'm not, like, I've got to say, like, my inner baby is happy that they chose Armin to live again. Mm-hmm. But I would have been like, damn, maybe this is challenging anime. If they killed Armin over Erwin, and then Erwin is like tortured and not happy he's alive, bro, that would have been like legitimately kind of sick.
Yeah.
And then Levi has to deal with the fact that he didn't make his promise to him, and he's alive, so he's accountable, bro. Mm-hmm. Think about how sick that would have been.
Erwin would have been touching on some Metal Gear Solid 5 shit. Like, somebody who's been brought back in order to, like, serve this purpose that he doesn't want to serve. They very much hint at that in episode 6 when they're choosing between Armin and Erwin.
Right.
Because Levi says, like, Erwin has become a devil.
Yeah, he had to become a demon.
Yeah.
Punished Erwin.
Yeah, that was a really cool sentiment. Like Levi saying, like, he became a devil because he had to be. Like, I chose to let him, like, finally rest and not deal with.
Yeah, which makes
anymore.
sense.
That was cool.
Also, I don't know if you guys remember this, but at the end of the first half of season 3, we get a little teaser mid credits of Mikasa and Levi fighting each other on a rooftop.
Yeah.
And you're like, I wonder why my two favorite characters are trying to kill each other. Turns out it's because they're fighting over which one of their friends is going to live.
That's
again.
crazy.
Right. Yeah, I remember that scene, but I thought that there was more fighting than what they showed now.
Right.
But maybe I might just be remembering it wrong. I was like, is this the
Or
scene?
they could have done one of those things where they cut down on the fighting because you already know what happened.
Sure.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I remember seeing that teaser and feeling spoiled.
Right, yeah.
Right. Well,
That's definitely them saying, like, hey, we know the season isn't that great. Can you take this little
There's
teaser?
some more exciting stuff coming, we promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. Also, how do you guys feel about Birdie finally kicking the bucket? Did it feel good?
Finally.
How
I
exactly
mean,
did
just
he die?
someone had to die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron killed him.
Uh,
Oh, no, sorry. No, Aaron, like, beat him, and then Armin would have eaten him when they gave him the
right.
serum,
I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Armin set him up. It was an alley-oop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's actually one thing that I found was a little too much in the season. The I guess, like, the inner monologues during fights where, like, they're tricking Bertold and Armin is, like, burning up and flying at him, but he's flying at him for, like, 2 minutes.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm holding on just a little more, Aaron. Like, it just goes on way too long.
It's very much charging my spirit bomb kind of moment. Like,
Yeah, there are a couple moments I like that throughout the season during fights where the inner monologue was just too long.
Right.
Dylan, who gives a fuck how long a scene is?
That's a David Lynch reference.
Yeah, Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Goat.
Oh, God. Guys, Hanji is one eye.
Punished Hanji, dude.
Something like, I didn't even notice. This person has glasses on at the time. It's like, it doesn't even matter, man.
Yeah, her whole squad of disposables gets nuked when Birdie decides to go full Titan.
It's so funny because she's obviously alive because, like, they don't show her, and then they don't show her for like 2 episodes, and everyone, You're like,
She's
yeah,
just
Hanji's
like-
alive.
Yeah, a Titan ate my eye.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
I
would
forget
show
what
the
happens.
charred body if she's dead,
yeah,
all right?
yeah.
We know you Attack on Titan. You would show the charred body.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, when's she gonna come back and save the day? And then she does. And it's like, yeah, okay. There's like so many times where this show is just like, it gives you a yeah, okay moment. Where it's
Right.
like Aaron defeats Birdie in the town where Birdie ruined his life, basically. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, obviously that had to happen. Like,
Right. Dylan, what if they subvert your expectations and somebody just gets like an incredibly epic moment happens off screen? Like somebody gets turned into a Titan.
Right. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Like Marco or whatever just like comes out of nowhere.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm a Titan now.
Okay, now that actually reminds me of something that I wanted to bring up. This season does something very interesting with Marco. So I just wanted to play a clip of our first episode. Our episode on season 1 of Attack on Titan. This is something that we discussed about Marco.
Shonen Chumps.
my initial impression of the show was that stuff felt kind of samey, not just in the way it looked, but even in the way people were. It didn't feel like characters beyond the main 3 were fleshed out to the point where I could distinguish them my first pass.
Right. I took down a note, like
Yeah.
while watching the series, saying this show will take any chance it can to make me think that a bunch of characters are the same dude.
Yeah.
Because like so many people look the same.
Oh yeah, it's like super confusing.
Even like, you know, Marco? That
Yeah,
character
Marco.
who dies,
Marco.
who you're supposed to care about?
Yeah.
I didn't even know definitively what he looked like until the OVAs when the series was over.
Wait,
Yeah.
on your third time through?
Yeah. It's so funny, man.
They made Marco's death matter finally.
I know who
Closure,
Marco
baby.
is.
All this time they heard your complaints. Marco was so insignificant. His
Yeah.
death was off screen, and we finally see what happened to him in
Yeah.
season 3.
It was
Yeah,
the
holy
most
shit.
significant death because he was surrounded by 3 smart
Yeah,
Titans.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. They were playing the long
Very,
con.
very
Yeah.
important.
It's unbelievable.
They left him wounded on a rooftop to be eaten by a Titan.
Without his gear, they took
Without,
off.
oh
his-
yeah. Wait, was he wounded or just without his?
No, I think I don't know if he was wounded. They
just
like held
wrestled him to the
down,
ground,
yeah.
right?
They
Yeah.
took his shit off, and they waited for a Titan to come, and then they ran away.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
Holy
Done
crap!
dirty.
Who'd have thought,
They fucked
man?
They got him.
Yeah.
You know, something interesting about that scene that I thought about after the show was done and after we had the lore dump, which I guess we'll talk about more in a minute, was the fact that Annie was so apprehensive to kill Marco. She had qualms. Like when Reiner and Birdie had him pinned down and they're like, okay, we're going to kill him. He knows. And he was freaking out. She was like, I don't know if we should, can we really, And then Reiner has to give her like a pep talk, like a really weirdly racist pep talk, being like, these dirty scum animal race people, like we can't let them live. Like you really want to let this demon spawn live or whatever? Or like, don't you want to like defeat this race of demons? And she was just like, oh my God, I don't really want to do this. And then it was later on, like, then there's another cut, I think in that same flashback to Reiner feeling apprehensive later or like having a breakdown being like, oh my God, like I can't believe we did this. So like, I was kind of wondering, like, do you think that, like, how convinced are they of their mission? Do you think they're lying to themselves? I guess we'll talk about this in further depth when we talk about like the two different races and, you know, one trying to eclipse the other. Like, who do you think is disseminating the orders, and do you think that the Titan shifters are really convinced that they're doing the right thing?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of conflict there. I think whoever's pulling the strings, we probably haven't seen.
Yeah.
I assume the Marleyan leader, or that's
Right.
what their
Right.
race is called, because they clearly are not sure about anything. It's like they were told, like, you know, this version of history,
Right.
And I suppose they infiltrated like, you know, the walls, and they pretended to be a citizen.
Right.
And I'm sure they saw it's not as simple
Right.
as that, and they really. I mean, it seems
then
like
they
they
have
become
this
friends
thing
with
that-
some of those people.
Yeah,
and
of course.
They definitely felt bad about it.
They were
So-
conditioned to think that they were doing the right thing this entire time. So that's when the conflict sort of arose, is when they were faced with actually killing these people. But I mean, like, Birdie and Ryan are definitely charged into it a lot easier than Annie did, because they're the first ones who opened up the walls to begin with.
Right.
Like, they're the ones who unleashed all those wandering titans onto the people
right
in the first place. So I guess they're already, like, knee deep in the shit. Annie hasn't shifted at all, as far as we know,
Right.
up until that point. So, like, she hasn't killed anyone. So I guess in that moment, she was probably kind of green.
And they're like all following Reiner's lead, and we
Right.
know that Reiner's insane.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the Kanye West of the show. Like, yeah, he's never in the same place. He like constantly like thinks that he's an idiot and he's doing the wrong thing. Oh no, wait, these are my best friends. It's like
Yeah, and he has a
They're
crush on
together.
Krista, who's like literally
Right.
the queen of the enemy race. It's like, bruh, what are you doing? Get it together.
yeah, she just keeps getting harder and harder for him to get.
Yeah.
Just, like, keeps ascending the ranks.
Yeah, shit.
God, so dumb.
What were we talking about just before this? Oh yeah, Armin. And then what was the next big thing that happened? I guess them going into the basement after
Well,
they...
then, yeah, that
Exactly.
is the next thing that they go into the basement and.
Oh yeah, did you have a point about baseball before we get to that?
Oh, the baseball thing. No, I just made the same point.
Yeah.
I think as you. I just wrote. The Beast Titan made a reference to baseball. He said something about his first pitch
Yeah.
being practiced and then him going for a perfect game. So I'm like,
Right.
so baseball exists in this
Yeah.
world?
I mean,
What does that mean?
I guess on the Marleyan continent or whatever, they have like cars and shit. It's like they're in like the 1920s. They're,
Yeah,
like,
okay. So that's the other thing. When we finally, when we got Grisha's backstory,
Right.
I was just like, are we in Nazi Germany?
Yeah.
And also,
Right.
is this just what Full Metal Alchemist did when you like the original anime when they like jumped
Yeah.
between universes and it's just like
FMA
30s.
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for Full Metal.
Yeah, sorry. Shit. I was like, what is
yeah.
going on
That was a
here?
lot.
Is this just Earth?
I guess let's talk about that now. Like what they found in the basement and like the true history of things.
Yeah. Like, this is a very complicated way to shit on another race. You know? like, like, they don't just do, like, the our world equivalent, which is, like, I don't know, slavery or just, like,
Yeah.
just general bad treatment.
Right.
This is just, like, somehow they got them all on an island. I don't know if this is where these people come from. Like, their homeland is this island.
They retreated.
they retreated.
Oh, right. They retreated. Right. Yeah.
So, something very interesting about that whole thing that we're given is that we don't really definitively know who the oppressor was. Like, we don't know who the true subjugator is because,
Right.
first of all, the Marleyan history, I guess, or like their history books as they see it, puts the Titans in a place of like evil where it's like, oh, Ymir found or made a deal with like the devil or whatever, became a Titan, spawned more Titans when she died, and then those Titans enslaved the Marleyans and like all other races, and then after a long reign, they were overthrown by the Marleyans, and then they kind of tucked their tails and then booked it to an island where they were in exile forever. But on
But
the
not
side-
everyone.
But not everyone.
no-
Yeah.
The what are the Eldians?
Eldians, yeah. Some of them were left over, and then they needed to be, I guess, herded and like treated like subhumans.
Yeah, like
because-
they're literally put into ghettos. It is
Yeah.
like literally like
Nazi Germany, yeah, because
right.
yeah, but it's because of fear, and they're scared. Like, oh, if we don't keep them in line, they're gonna kill us all again. However, we're shown the point of the revolutionaries who are still there amongst the Marleyans. The like, I guess Aaron's dad being one of them,
Right.
or him being indoctrinated into that that little subsect. And we see like him talking with his fellow revolutionaries, and he's going over like these ancient scrolls or whatever that show like pretty vague like hieroglyphics of Titans like building bridges and stuff I mean, I guess you could interpret it as building bridges. They're very like primitive artistic depictions, right? And he's like, oh, like you can see that this shows that Ymir was actually like a savior to the people of the land when she was around. And it wasn't even that long ago, apparently. This is like within like an 80-year time frame that the Titans were overthrown and they ran to the island or whatever. So he's like, oh, like you can see like we were actually good and we were a huge boon to everyone around us. And then they got like jealous and tore us down and ruined us. And now we've got to fight back for like the pride of our people and our heritage and all that. But someone checks him and is like, hey, like, is that what this actually says? Like, you can read this like old script? And he's like, not really. I'm still kind of learning. But that's what it says, right?
Yeah, I think he's just like, yeah, but like the pictures.
So like, we're never given like a definitive truth as to whose history is correct.
Right.
And that lends a huge ethical quandary as to like our cast of characters that we follow. It's like they're getting passed down this information from Aaron's dad, who's, I guess, in some form biased because he doesn't necessarily have like a definitive, like factually objective point of view necessarily. Like we can't confirm that. Does it mean that his people deserve to be treated the way they did? Or like, I don't know. Like even if they did subjugate, like their ancestors did subjugate the Marleyans or whatever, do they deserve what they've experienced? Like the hell they've experienced?
Not guilty of the sins of their parents.
Exactly. And that being said, it leads the question like, okay, so what are they going to do when they cross the ocean and they go to the Marleyans? Are they going to take revenge? And how many innocent people are going to die in the process? It's like, who's right here? And there's this huge ethical question that's up in the air right now. And that's so cool.
Yeah, see, that was pretty interesting. Actually, could you like clear up, or maybe we can flesh this out? What exactly did the revolutionaries want who are in the Marleyan territory? Because I think they also wanted to go to see the king. I think that's what it was. They wanted to go see the king in the walls to, I guess, get him to help his people.
I think so, because like the thing is like the king was non-violent, right? Like Rod Rice or whatever, or like
his predecessor, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Like they didn't want to fight because they could have totally wrecked everybody. So it's like,
but it seemed like selfish. It wasn't like the king was being a good guy, like I don't want to fight. Like he definitely left behind a bunch of his subjects, right?
Right. Like he did dip and then wall himself off quite literally. So it does lend the question.
He put Titans in the walls also, right?
Yeah. I mean, like they were all Titans, and then he wiped out his people's memories of like the last 100 years or so.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess for what he perceived as their own benefit. But yeah, it does bring up a whole bunch of other questions, because it's like, if him and his people were truly guilty of like, I don't know, subjugating the ancient world or whatever, like, would he have felt bad? Like, is that why he's leaving? Is he like, oh, like, I guess we did kind of fuck up. We're just going to go do our own thing over here now. Bye. You know, could that be motivation? Or do you think he's got his own selfish ideas? There's a lot of questions, and I like it.
Yeah, to be fair, I suppose the king and the people that are, I mean, they're in exile, I guess. They aren't trying to do shit anymore. They're just trying to live in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're just getting wrecked.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's like there's an active threat. It's the Titans, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then they have the Marleyans want to come there because of resources, because they're running out of resources. Right. They want to steal the resources, which is why 5 years ago I think the plan was that to infiltrate, destroy the walls, and
I guess that's why
flood it with Titans.
That's why they're there in the first place, right? It's like they want to take the resources, but they're being fueled by this history that they've been taught. So it's like, oh, we're not here to plunder resources. We're here to eliminate this race of demons.
Yeah.
But they're also serving the ends of the Marleyan government or whoever's funding their war effort.
Yeah, and the Marleyan government they're now using Titans to their benefits. Like they control like
7, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They control like the smart Titans,
Yeah.
right?
I think they said 7 out of the 9 in their history that they took command over, something like that.
So then the 2 would have been
The coordinate, and then
Attack?
The-
Or no?
attack.
yeah, because he was undercover.
Oh yeah. So it would have
Okay,
been
right.
the
Right.
coordinate and the attack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. But now we have more. By we, I mean the good guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Huh.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So Aaron's dad had a sister, and she died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, Aaron's dad has a son
Oh yeah.
Oh
who's
yeah.
not Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I was thinking about it. I don't want to speculate, but I'm gonna speculate for a second here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Blonde child, fully indoctrinated into the mentality of the Marleyans. Could it be Reiner? He is a couple years older than Aaron.
Right.
You never know.
Right,
Maybe.
right.
I feel like they're setting it up. It's like, why would they not let him die? Unless he was going to come back later and be like, I'm your brother. And then they have like a weird family duel.
Wait, do you not think that the son is the Beast Titan guy?
Oh, I mean,
Because he literally said he's like, wait, he said something like,
he looked nothing like your father.
yeah, he said, like, he's like, oh, your father lied to you.
But he's old. He's like kind of old. Like, I would think he would
Is
be.
he that old? Aaron's 15.
Dude,
And look how old Aaron looks.
this guy has like a beard and he's drawn kind of like as if he were the same age as like Aaron's father. Like, I feel like he would have known Aaron's dad and they would have been like the same age.
Oh, okay.
Right? That kind of thing. Like, I feel like if it was going to be Aaron's brother, it would be Reiner. Right?
But Reiner doesn't seem older than that much older than Aaron. See, the thing is, like, it seems
It's a
that
short
Aaron's
timeline,
dad had a kid, and that kid at least grew up to be like what 10
no,
before he turned
10?
on him.
I would have thought like, I don't know, like 6 or like 7 or like 5. Like 5 to 7. He was like a little kid.
Okay, let's say 7,
Yeah.
and then so let's say the kid is 7, and then Grisha went over to like live in Shiganshina or whatever, and met Aaron's mom, and that that must have taken a couple years, right? And then had a kid.
The timeline was pretty short though, right?
Was
Probably, considering that all of Attack on Titan has taken place in 4 months or something like that.
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Probably.
Yeah. Like when they're reminiscing, he's like, oh, I can't believe that was 2 weeks ago. And it's from like season 1 or whatever. It's like,
Good God.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
how do you feel?
I'm
Sean?
hesitant to speculate because, like, we probably know this in the manga already.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are like shaking their heads or like
Yeah.
rolling their eyes or like punching their computer screens right now.
Exactly, yeah. And I don't have any good guesses either. I'm a bad conspiracy theorist, you know?
How do you feel about the lore dump? You said it didn't impress you.
It didn't impress me, man. It's just like, I don't know, it's not very compelling to me. Like, okay, it's just racism. Like, I get it. Right? Like, okay, there's people who can turn giant, and so you're turning them giant and kicking them down a well and, like, saying, hey, go play with yourself. Like, you know, they're just all on their own island. Like, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. Like, I want to see where this goes, but, like, it's not wowing me. Like, it's not really living up to that potential of, like, swinging through the sky like Spider-Man, like, wondering where, like, I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah. Cool.
I mean, like, the contrast between what it potentially could be now with this ethical quandary of who's right and whose race deserves to be on the losing end of this deal because someone's going to win. Or maybe nobody will win.
It'll probably
at the
end
end
in
of the day.
peace, dude. Come on.
Probably.
Like, the stark difference between that and what we thought this was about in season 1 being like, oh, humanity is like
Yeah,
like a
this is
post-apocalypse
nothing
thing.
like
Yeah.
season one, what
like-
you would have
yeah.
thought.
It's like zombies, but with naked giants.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit. It's like night and day. And I like the steep drop, like the hard turnaround, like fair. I wouldn't have been able to write that. Be like, oh, like the twist is it's not this at all.
I think anybody could write that.
Damn,
Like, I
dude.
really do think that anybody could write that.
Heck.
I think you just need to come up with a very simple concept. Okay, rabbits can grow wings and turn into birds. Okay? And then you just, like, add another layer on top of that. Why can they do that? Because one time they ate a bat and they grew wings. Okay, why can they do that? Because, like, humans gifted them with the ability to eat bats, right? Okay, and why did they do that? Because humans wanted to create a creature that could turn into another creature. Right? Okay, and why do they... You just keep adding layers and it gets stupid enough that it, like, makes sense.
John, I'd like to present you with this Oscar.
Yeah, it's just like... Yeah, I don't know. I'm not, like... I don't hate it or anything.
Right.
It's just like... I'm like, okay, interesting. Like, what I find a little more interesting, like, the things that I want to dig into is almost nothing to do with, like, these levels of hierarchy and, like, race versus race. Like, I don't give a shit. What I care about is, like... What's up with the stupid rule that whenever you become a smart Titan, you have to die in 13 years? Okay,
Oh,
That's a little
yeah.
interesting to me.
That's because our founder did, so now we all do out of respect.
Exactly. Yeah,
Is that actually what it... Like, they said something like that. Like, she served... But I don't know if that was
Yeah.
like, we do it...
No. It was pretty vague, but
yeah.
it made it seem like it was involuntary. Like they didn't. It's
Yeah.
just part
Okay. of the
curse
Okay,
or
good.
whatever.
yeah. Like
That'd be dumb.
They don't have to
as soon as you
commit
become a
seppuku.
Titan, yeah,
Like-
as soon as you become a Titan, your heart like clocks that, and then it's just like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
13 years, and you're gonna die.
Right.
Yeah, and besides that, like the biggest mystery to me about the show right now is not necessarily what they're gonna do when they get off this island and do all that shit. That was actually a pretty good scene when they like reach the waters of the
Finally
Yeah,
island.
see
yeah, that was
the
cool.
Like,
ocean.
pick up like a shell or some shit, and they're
Yeah.
like, the future or whatever. Time to go like slaughter a whole race or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm like interested in is what is it? I have my note down here. Old Aaron tells Aaron's dad. Oh yeah, because there's an Aaron before Aaron.
Oh,
who Aaron is
yeah.
clearly named after this old
The
Right,
owl.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, the owl. Is
Yeah.
that, do they
His
call him
name
that?
is the.
That's like
Owl.
his code name.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
an
yeah.
informant.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So old Aaron tells Aaron's dad to save Armin and Mikasa.
Yeah, that was
Right.
cool.
And I'm like, like he clearly doesn't know who those people are. He might even
Right.
say something like that. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
yeah, he does. He says,
like-
I don't know, they're not from my memories.
Yeah, and it's like, what is this like? Are we dealing with time travel? Or are we just dealing with cyclical shit? Like
I think it's just like
everything moves in a circle, and
Right.
this Aaron will then become
Some-
like an owl informant. And
some Dr.
think-
Manhattan shit. Like
They say that all Eldians are linked by something
The
kind of
coordinate.
intangible.
the coordinate, right? Like it's like it all convenes at the coordinate. or
yeah,
something
that,
like
that makes sense. Yeah.
I think like what I took away from that was like, oh, I guess this just means like they share memories across time based on like between Titan users. It's like the person who inherits
right.
like I guess since we're all connected in this way in this fucking fourth dimension where time is linear or non-linear, whatever.
Right.
It's like I can experience the same experiences of future users of this Titan and
Okay.
past users of this Titan
Right.
and whatever. Because like when Aaron's like tripping out and like remembering all this shit in the jail cell, and like Levi's like, oh, he's just going through a teenage phase where he blurts stuff out loud or whatever.
That was very dumb. That was a very fucking dumb joke.
Yeah, I know.
All that shit. Like him and Hanji being like, oh, he's going through his awkward phase. What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
He, like,
can turn into a giant. It's not an awkward phase. He's not a regular teenager. What are you
growth
talking
spurt.
about? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, he like stands up in court and like blurts something out or whatever.
Yeah. Because Aaron's not just like reading his dad's journal. I mean, he might be doing that,
Right.
but he's like reliving his father's memories. Like
Exactly.
he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what that is on that guy's end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The season ends at a pretty interesting place because, I mean, they're at the ocean or whatever, the sea, but Aaron has expressed that interesting sentiment that he thought, like, he always thought that they would reach the ocean and it would be peace, but on the other end of the ocean is just enemies,
Right. That was
which
cool.
is like pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, wait, I think they say, like, near the end, when they reach the ocean, that they've killed almost all the Titans. Do they say
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, they've killed. I think they said they've killed all of the Titans. Or no, sorry, they say that Hanji's theory was that almost all of the Titans that were kind of around the walls had come into Walmaria.
Oh, yeah.
And now all those Titans that are sealed within the walls, they're dead. And so now they're not
Right.
encountering, like, any. They only encountered one. So they're like,
they were
okay, that proves
using-
our theory that almost all the Titans came into the wall and now they're dead.
Because they do a time lapse where they're like, oh, eventually the automatic like drop kill things that they had along the walls
Right. Yeah.
stopped because there weren't any more Titans
Right.
coming up to the wall. And we also find out in the flashback that all the Titans that have been like sent to, surround this town and kill them are just other Eldians from the other continent
Right.
that have been given the spinal fluid
Yeah.
and then just kicked off, and they don't know what they're doing anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Injected, this is Sparta.
This is Sparta, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then we get the reveal that the Smiling Titan was actually royalty and was
Grisha's wife.
Grisha's wife, yeah.
Who killed
His mom.
Aaron's mom.
Oh,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Fitting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad episode of Maury Povich. Just
Yeah, exactly. God.
Oh god.
There are no bad episodes. Oh, God.
yeah.
Maury Chumps.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Maury Chumps.
Oh, yeah, and then we're given the revelation that Aaron can use his coordinate powers, but he needs to be touching a Titan of royal descent. And then it's like,
Yeah, he does.
whoa.
So he just needs to, like, touch Historia, and then he's gonna...
Well,
what's he gonna do?
Historia needs
Like,
to be
he
made
can-
a Titan, apparently.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
No. If he touches Historia, I think he can use the coordinates power. I think is what was saying. Like he can command. the Titans.
No, because like he was worried about what they would do to Historia if they knew, like, because he had a flashback to touching his stepmom, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that Titan,
Dad's first wife.
the Smiling Titan's hand. He like punches its hand.
Yeah.
And then he gets the power to use it. And then he remembers when, like, Krista touches him. But if it was so simple as her touching him, like, then she just have to, like, give him, like, just sit on his shoulders and, like, hold his face or something while he wreaks havoc on the people, right? But he's scared for Historia, which is why he doesn't want to speak up. So it's like, oh, I guess she has to be made a Titan.
Well, yeah, because it's not a practical method for her to just follow Aaron around and be like, here you go.
Well,
And
like,
then he
why
commands.
does
So
he have to be
there's-
silent?
No, because he's saying like
He's like, what
because
would they
if he
do to her
tells
if-
people,
yeah.
he's worried about. He wants to keep her safe.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
But I mean, like, also,
that.
like,
yeah.
she's their queen, right? Like, they're not gonna, like, they're not, like, unless they
Yeah,
really
dude,
had a
she's
reason
been queen
to.
for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
Yeah.
True.
Oh,
True. I mean, she's taken to it pretty quickly, so.
Yeah.
Man, you saying that, like, the, not the conduit, what is he? The,
Coordinate.
sorry, yeah.
The constant.
Yeah, the constant. Oh, God, lost. Yeah, you saying that, like, the coordinate can maybe, like, his memories or his feelings might, like, transfer to other people or transfer to the previous people who had his power.
Right.
His, like, that makes the most sense, and it really bums me out. Because, like, I really wanted it to be, like, one step cooler than that.
Yeah,
And for, like,
yeah.
I don't know, something.
Lovers touching across time.
Yeah, something like that, you know. Like, Lost. You know?
Yeah, dude. Someone phone up Damon Lindelof. Has he been
Please.
fucking around in Japan recently? Like,
Oh, God.
wandered into a writer's room? Where am I?
Oh, God. Okay, I'm trying to see if I have any more notes on the season. I don't think I do. Is there anything we haven't touched on that you guys want to talk about?
I'm tapped out, I think.
I think I am too.
Ryan is dumb.
Yeah.
So silly.
So I think for the first time, I'm looking forward to the next season.
Yeah. Closing thoughts?
I want to see this. I want to see this. That's my closing thought. Like
Same.
I'm in.
I'm eager.
I'm in for the 1st time. I'm in.
I'm also eager for a change of scenery to a certain degree.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good point.
For once, it's not the infinite rolling hills outside of the walls or the infinite rolling rooftops of inside the walls.
Yeah.
True. Maybe we're gonna get gray tiles instead of brown tiles.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Can you
I
imagine?
wouldn't mind
Maybe
it.
flat roofs instead of everything being pointy, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Airships, guns,
Yeah. We've seen some guns.
I mean, I guess they
We've
have
seen,
guns,
like,
but,
shooting
like, automatic
spears or whatever.
weapons.
Right.
Yeah. They're gonna pull up to the big continent and just get shot, and that's just it.
Or just, like, nuked immediately. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm really excited to see, like, what happens next, if only to know that I didn't miss anything. You know, like, I'm one of those guys in university, I showed up to almost every single class, whether or not it was at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., just to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. And let me tell you, I didn't need to be at any of those classes.
But you were there.
But I was there, and I can tell you that you didn't need to be there. So yeah, like, whether or not that's what ends up happening with Attack on Titan, maybe I'll tell you listeners that you don't need to finish it or something like that. I don't know. But I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, I'm very stoked. My interest is rekindled. Who knows? Maybe I'll be jaded again this time next year when the show's out. And it'll re-win me over by doing something. Oh, I've got to say, we finally get some context to the images that we see at the end of season 2, like the credit sequence that I'm so obsessed with, which is maybe one of my favorite ending credit sequences of all time, with that creepy ass song and all of those like wall drawings and like wood chiselings of like giants and titans and people fighting and like all of this mystery that was up in the air. I loved being told what happened. I loved it, dude. That's just a personal thing. It's like I like seeing the monster like in a scary movie, like when there's all this build up and whatever, and then we get to see the thing and we're like, oh my god, that's the thing, I guess. That's what this was for me. It was just a huge dopamine hit. I was like, yes, dude.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. So I
Nailed
think
it.
that's it.
Yeah, I think that is it.
Okay, we're all excited for the next season. We've been the Shonen Chumps.
We still are the Shonen Chumps.
We will always be the Shonen Chumps.
You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Wait, no, that's not true.
We'll get us on Spotify to make
Get on
that
Spotify.
true.
Yeah. Google Play.
Yeah, anywhere you get your podcast.
Yeah, SoundCloud, you know. You can contact us. We're at Shonen Chumps on Twitter, Facebook. You can email us at shonenchumps@gmail.com.
Yeah, please email us. It's been a minute. We'd like to hear from you if you're still around, or if you're new here for some reason.
Yeah, let us know if we should keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, we will, regardless.
it's been like 6 months.
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
See you, Space Cowboy.